It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. But on the show today, Indian men's cricket team head coach Gautam Gambhir has come under severe flack. Now he's facing all the heat for the way he addresses press conferences. The same Gautam Gambhir, who is being hailed for his straightforward attitude, is now being criticized for the same, his curt behavior. We look at the intensity building up to the Border-Gavaskar Trophy between India and Australia. The game between Israel football club Maccabi and Turkish club Besiktas has been shifted to a neutral venue as Israel football fans and players find themselves more and more isolated by Europe. Security has been beefed up and all eyes are now on the Israel and France face-off in the Nations League tournament. After a failed T20 Cricket World Cup and Copa America tournament, USA gears up for two mega events under the newly elected Republican Donald Trump. But will his policies and strict measures be a hindrance? What challenges lie ahead for Trump and the US when it comes to sporting events? But first, a look at the headlines. Starting with cricket, the chaos surrounding Pakistan's Champions Trophy hosting rights continue. Reports say ICC has asked Pakistan Cricket Board or the PCB to host the tournament in a hybrid model. If PCB refuses, then the tournament will reportedly move to South Africa. Pakistan media has said that the PCB may withdraw from the tournament if ICC forces a hybrid model. Continuing with cricket, Rahmanullah Gurbaz surpassed Virat Kohli, Sachin Tendulkar to become the second youngest to score 8 ODI centuries at the age of 22 years and 349 days. Quinton de Kock of South Africa holds the record. Afghanistan's Gurbaz achieved the feat in the third ODI against Bangladesh, a match that Afghanistan won by 5 wickets to seal the series 2-1. On to football, Ruud van Nistelrooy will not continue in his role of Manchester United's assistant manager. The club confirmed that Nistelrooy will vacate his role after the arrival of head coach Ruben Amorim. Nistelrooy led United to 4 unbeaten games, winning 3 out of those matches. Premier League referee David Coote was suspended for abusing Liverpool Football Club and their former manager Jurgen Klopp. Coote's foul-mouthed rant against Klopp and Liverpool recently went viral on social media. The UK referee was suspended pending a full investigation. Over in tennis, world number 3 Carlos Alcaraz suffered a shock defeat in his ATP Tour Finals opening match, and out of sorts, Alcaraz lost to 7th-ranked Casper Ruud, 1-6, 5-7. This was Alcaraz's first loss against Ruud in 5 matches. In another match, world number 2 Alexander Zverev eased past Andrei Rublev in straight sets. The Border-Gavaskar Trophy, or BGT as it's being referred to, seems to be all the buzz now, especially when both Australia and India will enter the series with some not-so-positive results behind them. Australia just lost an ODI series to Pakistan. Some of their test seniors, in fact, were rested, keeping in mind the rigorous BGT coming up against India, and they lost to Pakistan at home for the first time in 22 years. India, as we know, is coming fresh off a whitewash also at home to New Zealand. A whitewash for the first time in 24 years. So clearly not very happy memories leading up to what is easily one of the most intensely fought and very avidly watched series in men's cricket. In fact, everyone is trying to attract the Indian and subcontinent fans to get in on the craze. Take a look at what some of the Australian dailies have employed on their front pages to announce the arrival of the BGT and the superstars. The Indian squad has flown over to Australia and almost everyone has started talking strategy and game plans. Captain Rohit Sharma will be missing that first test, so he did not travel with his squad, which means head coach Gautam Gambhir fronted up to the press in their pre-departure media interaction. Some highlights of what Gambhir said ahead of the series.
See, the first and foremost challenge is obviously the conditions. We don't control the wickets that they give. It is their wish, whatever they want to dish us with. We are absolutely ready to play on any kind of conditions. If we play to our potential, if we play our best cricket, we can defeat anyone on any given wicket. When I took up the job, I always think that it's gonna be a highly difficult job and highly prestigious job as well. And honestly, I don't think as if I'm feeling the heat because my job is to be absolutely honest. What does Ponting have to do with Indian cricket? I think he should think about Australian cricket. More importantly, I have got no concerns whatsoever for Virat and Rohit. I've said it before about Virat. You don't ever question the greats of the game.
Pretty curt and straightforward, typical Gautam Gambhir. We've seen him enough number of times addressing the media as a player earlier to know what to really expect behind the mic as a coach too. He doesn't mince too many words. Don't remember seeing him smile too often either. This is what he is, what you see is what you get. And that seems to be an issue now.
Just watched Gambhir in the press conference. Maybe wise for BCCI to keep him away from such duties. Let him work behind the scenes. He does not have the right demeanor nor the words when interacting with them. Rohit and Agarkar, much better guys to front up for the media.
Commentator Sanjay Manjrekar saying Team India must avoid getting Gautam Gambhir to address press conferences here on. Leave it to men like Rohit Sharma and Ajit Agarkar instead. Let's dissect this before I show you what reactions that comment generated. Is Rohit Sharma more affable, more comfortable with the media than Gambhir? Of course. Does he smile more? Yes, and he makes the media laugh too. He cracks jokes. He's downright a treat at press conferences. But that's who he is. It's part of his persona. Gambhir was never that, and he never promised to be that either. He has always been this way. In fact, it was this very attitude and temperament that many of the commentators, critics all applauded and said India needed this right now post the Rahul Dravid era to take Indian cricket forward. He was appreciated for his this very quality that he has, this very trait, the no-nonsense demeanor when he was roped in. So why is that such a concern now? Because India lost? Seems a bit fickle a reason to me at this point. Here are, of course, the reactions that line of thought received. It was not just Manjrekar. Sunil Gavaskar, who also has been very critical of the Gambhir approach in general, was also quick to taunt the head coach with the series against Australia looming ahead.
Gambhir, who himself averages 22.6 in Test on Australian soil, will now teach Indian batters how to play there.
You really do not need to have been an ace batter to be a good coach. Guess we all have seen enough examples of that in the past across various teams. And you don't need to coach Indian batters at this level on how to play their cricket. That's not the primary job requirement of a head coach. So I don't find myself agreeing to any of this. And it's not just Gambhir facing the heat. At stake, of course, is the chance of making it to the final of the World Test Championship for a third consecutive time. But it needs something close to a miracle. 4 wins out of the 5 remaining matches, which is against Australia, something Gavaskar doesn't believe India can achieve.
India can't win 4-0 or 3-1 with Australia this time. So don't think about WTC final now.
Clearly, Gambhir is under pressure. Yes, that we all can see. And there are daggers springing out from all quarters, as always is the case before India heads to Australia. It's a trial by fire for every member of that squad. And this series seems no different. We know what happened the last time India's ability to win against Australia in Australia was questioned. They bounced back to win a memorable tour. Either ways, we all can expect some very good cricket from both these very competitive and fierce squads. Israeli football club Maccabi Tel Aviv's fans were attacked in Netherlands last week, but the aftermath of that attack is still affecting Israel's sporting structure. From their club-level matches to their international fixtures, every game is under security scrutiny. Now, Maccabi Tel Aviv's Europa League fixture against Turkish club Besiktas, which was initially set to take place in Turkey, has now been moved to a neutral city in Hungary. And the game will be played without the attendance of fans. While it may seem like the Amsterdam incident may have nudged authorities to arrive at this decision, it is known that the Turkish club was not keen on hosting the Israeli football club in the first place, much before the Maccabi fans were even attacked in Netherlands. They wanted the match to be shifted out and organized at a neutral venue because of the sour relations between Israel and Turkey. Ever since the war began, Turkish President Erdogan has been Israel and Netanyahu's biggest critic. Erdogan has called Israel's attacks as genocide and has compared the country to Nazi Germany. Because of Erdogan's stance, plenty of anti-Israel protests have taken place in Turkey. Last year, in fact, Israel advised its nationals and diplomats in Turkey to leave the country. So the match was anyway considered high risk, and furthermore, more work did not want to host any Israeli sporting team. The incident in Netherlands last week has only made the situation far worse for Israel and their football fans, because after 5 Maccabi fans were severely injured and hospitalized in Amsterdam, Israel advised its citizens to stay off the streets and remain in their hotel rooms. Maccabi Tel Aviv warned its fans not to show Israeli or Jewish symbols outside either, and even fly back to Israel as soon as they could. Quite the hostage situation for these football supporters, who had to act like fugitives instead of supporting their team like fans would, which is what they had travelled for. Reports say that Turkish club Besiktas looked for other neutral venues, but only Hungary agreed to host matches that involved an Israeli side, proving that the rest of Europe isn't very keen on welcoming neither Israeli national side nor their clubs. This very sentiment has given air to an already burning issue of Israel versus Europe in the sporting world. Because it isn't club-level matches that stands impacted because of the unrest against Israelis. The upcoming Nations League encounter between Israel and France is now going to take place with heavy security. The Paris police has said that around 4,000 officers and 1,600 stadium staff will be deployed for the game. And security measures won't just be restricted to the stadium. They will be spread across public transportations too, because France is another country that has seen massive anti-Israeli protests in the past 1 year. It's understandable that Paris is doing this to ensure the safety of fans and the touring teams, but it is succeeding in generating more fear among fans. And given what happened in Amsterdam and Israeli government using a warning against traveling, fans may not even turn up for any of these games, which is what we saw at the Maccabi basketball team's match against Virtus Bologna in Italy. Following Israeli government's warning, there was very little turnout at the game, which only affects the players. They need the fans cheering them on at the stadiums. That is whom they play for.
Some situations that happening during this year that keep happening, so this situation is really difficult for us, but in the other side, we know that we have the privilege to give some hope and some moment of happiness for our nation, for our people that stay in Israel, and feeling proud that we are representing Israel, and this is our mission.
The situation is unfortunate but understandable. The most undesirable outcome is the war impacting a sport and those involved in it. The players seem to be stuck in the middle of all this because walkover or withdrawing is not an option, and fans are being forced out of this. A whole footballing tradition in a country slowly being snuffed out because of battle lines that have been drawn clear. Where will the situation head to next? Donald Trump made a strong comeback to the White House after an impressive presidential race against Democrat Kamala Harris. The one-sided victory meant Trump will reassume the role a second time. And while the United States is set to experience a massive change in terms of policies and laws with Trump's arrival, the sporting world will also face the impact of Trump's appointment. The United States is set to host two major sporting events in the years to come, the 2026 FIFA World Cup and the 2028 LA Olympics. Can Trump and USA redeem themselves after failed mega events on their home soil? What's the threat and the challenges here that Trump is likely to face? A report.
Donald Trump is the new president of the United States. Many across the sporting fraternity in the US cheered the Republicans' comeback. NFL players like Nick Bosa did a Trump-inspired dance move on the ground. The football world too did not waste any time in welcoming the new US president. While Infantino seems excited about the times to come, there is a growing concern over how Trump's reign will affect the 2026 Football World Cup and the 2028 Olympics, both hosted by America. How will Trump's stricter policies and his political stance on certain issues impact the successful conduct of these two mega events? Tournaments like the World Cup and the Olympics are often considered platforms that project the spirit and ethos of the host country. In this case, though, the spotlight could fall on Trump's position on immigrants, migrant workers, and women's rights. The biggest concern around the FIFA World Cup could be visa allotment to fans. During his campaign, Trump revealed that visa applications could get harder, meaning the waiting time will be longer for securing an American visa. The tournament is less than 2 years away, and the urgency to secure a US visa for fans is immense. And given the tournament has now been expanded to being a 48-team event, the 2026 World Cup, which is set to be hosted in the USA, Mexico and Canada, is expected to see many first-time travelers. So given Trump's election motto, it would be difficult for many fans to even secure a visa, which doesn't bode well for the tournament. Because football is an event that is governed by fans. If the fans won't take part in the tournament, the buzz around the mega event would be muted. During the Euros, it was the Dutch army, German fans and other European fan armies that made the event a resounding success. If these fans fail to make it to North America, the tournament might not see the same electrifying atmosphere that any football World Cup boasts of. And it's important for Donald Trump and the United States to have a smooth FIFA World Cup. This one is important, especially after the ICC T20 World Cup and the Copa America failed to deliver despite the expectations. And Trump wouldn't want that to happen again, at least not in his term. Because the success or failure of a mega sporting event reflects on the leadership too. Just recently, the French government faced a lot of backlash over the many mishaps at the Paris Olympics. President Macron was held answerable for every decision the Paris organizers took. The United States and Donald Trump would feel the same pressure too. So what would Trump do? Will the Republican be lenient when it comes to these two events? Because it isn't just America's image that is at stake here. The two events will define the kind of leader Trump is in the sporting world. He would still need to live up to the expectations of a grand football World Cup and the Olympic return to American soil. This would signal a big win for the United States, yes, but primarily for Trump.
That wraps it up here on Firstpost. Do tune in again tomorrow, same time. Till then, take care. Bye.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest